Hello friends, in this session we are going to talk about dimension style. Every drawing we are using either mechanical, electrical or civil, or in any interior design or anything, we need dimensions. What about the dimension styles we are using? For example, architectural person using inch and feet, mechanical person using millimeters, and other industries using other standards. Then how to set up all these? First thing is unit, second thing is styles, arrows, and what is the text style. So it differs in other drawings. So sometimes it happens when you are making one drawing and your text is not visible. In that case, you need to know the basics of dimension styles so you can configure it yourself. So if we are going to, I am going to make one dimension, for example like this. Now in this case our dimension is not visible because it is 5903. Problem is that if I am using in MMA standard, for example I have 20 meter plot, 20 meter by 20 meter plot. Okay, I'm making 20 meter and my unit is decimal millimeter. If I will tell in 20 meter into the millimeter, then it will become diameter into 20 meter and okay, this is now text anything. And if I am working in RAC, now I am just putting the 20 into 20. Now I am making in meter scale, not in mm. So now if I will make, then what happens? Text is visible. So our text and dimension style is set exactly with the millimeter, and I am making a meters drawing, so I cannot show the dimensions. This is the problem. If you are using another standards, another drawing, another scaling, then you need to scale your dimension also along with that. So there are several factors in this. For example, if I am talking about these dimensions, there are several factors in this. For example, this, what is this line called, this line called, and if I am making that line dimension, then why this gap is, what is this gap called? For example, this one gap, this is small gap, what is this one? So I am going to discuss all about what about the arrows, what about the dimensions. I want dimensions in between the dimension line, and etc. There are a lot of things in there. So for that I made one layout so you can better understand. If I am making one dimension line, so everything in this is have a different criteria, and these criterias are defined here. If you want it, for example, this is called text, the value or text. Value slash text. Okay, and this one is called dimension line. This is small line. Okay, this side or this side, both is called dimension line. And this is called arrow. I think I didn't mention it. This is arrow. Okay, this line after this arrow, this line are connecting to the your object or your point you selected, that is called extension line. And the gap between this origin and this line is called offset from origin. I will show you all this. And extension beyond dimension line is the after dimension line. You will not get idea exactly, so I am just moving it here. Now I am going to make dimension style. Okay, I am making a new one, name as Shahryar. Okay, now this is the same as we are watching here. So in this I am going to go each tab by tab, and I will use each and every command which is useful for you. First one, what is this color? Here also color. In symbol and text, no color. Text, again color. What are these all colors? First one, I am going to discuss about the line. This line have different things. First, dimension line. Dimension line means I told you about this line. So I will change the color. You can see the preview here. This line only changes, not any other lines. Okay, but rest, if you want to change the line type, you can change. But to change the line type here, you need to load some. For example, I chose the dotted line. Okay, so it is not visible here. You can view in your drawing. Same line weight if you want to change the line weight. So these all properties belongs to dimension line. This all property belongs to extension line. What is extension line? Look here, extension line is the line between your dimension and your origin. So extension line is this one. If I am going to suppress this dimension line, for example, look here in the preview, I am suppressing first line, suppressing second line. So this is the dimension line which is being suppressed. If I am changing the line color, so this line will change green. Look here. Okay, this small line above the dimension line is called extension beyond dimension line. If I will change it to 0 and enter, look here, our dimension line finishes here, not after that. For markation we put 1 or 1.5 approx. This one is okay according to our standards. Offset from origin, this small gap is called offset from origin. In here you can view this. If I am making it too much large, for example I am making it 5, then it becomes too much gap. So I am not making that one, I am just leaving it to 0.5. 0.5 is quite much, okay, no problem. And if you want this dimension line to be fixed, means not this much length line, just you need to fix. So if I will fix this one, for example 5, this dimension line will not extend from the dimension line. So I will make this one, okay, set current, okay. If I am making dimension line again, look here, now our dimension line is fixed. Before that it will squeeze, but when it crosses from 5, now it is fixed, now it will not change. Again DST, modify. So I am removing this fixed point. Now comes to symbol and arrow. Here many more arrows are there available for different standards you can use. For example closed, or in architecture basically they use this one. Okay, this is first arrow, means left side. Second arrow is right side. For example this one I will keep arrow. So first one is left side, second one is right side. Either it will be rotated 90 degree, then also the same thing will apply. Okay, again if I will go to the same thing, because always it should be same, not change. Okay, what is this ladder arrow? Ladder arrow is this one. When I will make the ladder, in that case what will be the arrow? Okay, so if I will change this one, or next time I am going to make the ladder, it will be changed. So I am leaving it as the same. What is the arrow size? This is arrow size. This the tick, or if I am going to close field, this is the arrow size. If I will change this one, for example 5, our arrow becomes big. So according to our need we will change its dimension. Now I am putting it 2.5 only. What is this mark? Center mark means if you are making one circle and you are dimensioning it, there will be one plus sign between this, either no sign, either plus sign, or a line. These are three things. If I will put a mark, then it will be, what will be the size of plus sign? Okay, I am going it, closing it, making one circle, see, enter, and putting on, change it to 5. I will check. You can check it by your own, might be it's in my case it's not regenerating. DST, modify, and this is line. If you don't want a mark, it will put one line. Line means dimension style, select this one. It's not regenerating, but in old edition you will see one small line from here to here, from here to here. Like in new models, new version of AutoCAD, they removed it. This will be a hidden line like this. like this line you will see. Okay, third one, DST modify. Here is the dimension break size. I will show you what is this break size. Okay, then I am removing it, fixed length, similar arrow. Okay, arc length and symbol. Arc length I will this all things I will discuss later. Text, this is the text or value, you can say which type of text you want to say. If you will zoom in, zoom out, or if you will go in layout, then it will be scaled during according to your layout. That is called annotative. If it will be standard, whatever your values you provided, dimensions you provided, it will be the same. Same as color. If I will change the color of this, then text will be changed. Fill color, there will be a patch around the dimensions value, and it will be filled with whatever color you choose. For example, I am putting cyan, and it is patching. Again, there is a draw a frame around it. If I am closing this one, you can see this here, one frame. If I am patching it again, then it's like this. So whatever you need, in that case you can make that one. If you have one full hatch and between that you want to show your dimensions, then this type of things are needed. Okay, this is the text height, how much size our text will be. If I will put 5, it will become big. If I will pick again 2.5, it will become same. Okay, later on I am going to show you everything. Text alignment, horizontal, align, and ISO. For example, to this understand this, you can see here this is aligned dimension, not a straight dimension. So in this case, what you are needed, if you will put horizontal, every dimensions will be horizontal. Look here, it is horizontal, 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 and horizontal. But in this case, it should be aligned, and in this case, it should be also be horizontal. But according to your standard, it can change. So you will change this one, or ISO standard. There is the very small difference between the aligned dimension and ISO standard. ISO standard means it will always use the aligned dimension, but if it comes in the case of circle, it will use the horizontal dimension. For example, aligned, it will also the same, but if I am going to ISO standards, it will again make it horizontal. This is the difference only. Okay, text placement, offset from the dimension. Offset from the dimension means it always remain above the dimension line. This where will be the text. For example, I am pushing it. Okay, again I am going this. I want this in the middle, or down. This is the selection. Second one, if up, then what will be the distance between, means here to here, this distance, this is 0.66 approx. If I am going to change the DST modify text, offset from 0.6 to 5, same na. If I am going to change it, for example 10, you will see, look how much distance from the dimension line. So don't change it. If 1, it becomes more up, and if I am going to make 0.6, it becomes less. Okay, it's up to you, whatever you use. I am putting cancel, modify again. It is minus 0.065. But what is the thing? What happened? Modify. Okay, centered. If I will put the center, then it will be center of the dimension line. If I reduce the arrow size little bit, 1, text 1, so I can get the better preview. Cancel, modify. Okay, we will see this. If centered means it will be centered. Second one, above the dimension line. Third one is below the dimension line. And this one, outside and GIS, is the same as outside means above, and GIS is also above, but little bit difference you will see practically when you will use this all. But normally it is used above or centered, not below or any other else. Okay, what about the horizontal? Same as, if I am watching this standard line, then this text is center of the dimension line, but I want it from the starting or from the end. these are the from left to right. For example, this one, at extension line 1, at extension line 2. Okay, third one is over extension line 1, fourth one is over extension line 2. So it's up to you, whatever you want, but normally centered is the standard one, and no one is going to change this one all. I never saw this anyone using any other extension lines. Okay, view director. View director is left to right or right to left. For example, this is the value. You can see if I am changing right to left, it will just flip out. It just flips out. It is used if you are making one block and whole block you are going to mirror it, then the dimension becomes reverse. In that case it is used. Go to the fit. This option is always like you can see here there is space for the arrow, but if there is not a space for the arrow, then what will happen with the arrow? Look here, the arrow becomes out. Either text or arrow, best fit. Which one is fit? There will be this option means if there is less space, then the software will first try to fit the text. If text gets fit into that, then it's okay. Otherwise it will put the arrow inside it and put the text outside. If I will put arrow, text, then look, text is outside and arrow is inside. If I will put arrow, then arrow outside and text is inside. And if I will put either, it will decide by the software. Always keep text between extension lines. If there is no space, then it will suppress the dimension line. These all are the practical examples you can use by yourself. And this is also the same if text will misplace. For example, you put text outside your dimension line, then it will put one ladder between your dimension line and your text. So you can use all this. What is the primary unit? Primary unit, how will it give the value? For example, I am going to see this one. Again I am going to copy this one. Okay, now we are watching their boundary, whatever we changed, modify. If I will change it to none, change it to none. Okay, for example, modify text, no, I don't want any round, and fit is okay. Primary unit, yes, this one. If you want the value, how your value will be used, for example, this one, how much value extent you want to calculate, this is called precision. Precision means 25.001.25. if it's 25.11, then it will show you 0.11 or not, it depends on you. So this is the dimension line. And what is the separator? You can see everywhere we are using that is a comma. We don't want comma, we want point in place of comma. And this is round off. If you want rolling means for example it's 78, then in architecture field you are not going to calculate 0.8, you are either calculating 0.5 or you will calculate 1. In that case round off is 5. So it will always show you 5 or 0.5, like this one. If it becomes, I'm just enlarging it a little bit, look here, it should be 27 or something, but it's showing 25 only. So I am modifying it and I am removing this one to 0. Select OK, close. Now it's 27.37. Modify. Again I am going to change this precision to 0, then it will show only, it's 25.37 now, it will show you 27 only. This is the thing. If you will modify, and you can use this all commands and you can see the difference. Okay, if you want some prefix before the dimension, for example I am using prefix for P and suffix for S. Whatever you want you can use. So just I am giving you this demonstration, you can see there. And measuring scale, what is the scale factor? For example, if you are using you made all the drawing in scale and you want the dimensions into meter scale, then it will show 3 zeros at the end. You want to divide every time it by 1000 to make it meter. So if you will put it by 1000, then it will use that scale, not the normal one. So you can put it either in, normally it's 1. Okay, apply layout dimension only. For example, in layout there is dimension, then it will apply according to that. Zero suppression, this is the thing. If you have 25.00, that is, if 0027, trailing means end. For example, we could saw here, I am going to close this trailing, close, I am going to erase it, sorry, enter dimension, look here, 25.00, DST, enter, modify, and I am going to on the trailing and removing the suppression, prefix and suffix, close. You can see 25, not 00, that is called trailing, removing 0 after the value. Okay, leading is, if it is like 0.0025, then what will it do with that 00? These are the things. So don't play with all this. If you will remove this 100, it will put some unit inside in the place of that, so it's a confuseness, so don't use this one. Okay, same as zero suppression, if it is in angular dimension, not a round one. Angular dimension you can use either degree of minutes, gradients, radians, or normally decimal degree, it's up to you. Alternative units, for example, if you are using inches, millimeter and inches drawing, and you want a millimeters also as a dimension. For example, I am going to make one new drawing as AutoCAD ISO, AutoCAD, this one. Okay, here you can see the unit is inches. So if I am making one line, sorry, UN, I am making it architectural. Okay, now I'll enter 10 feet 10 inch. Now it will make. What is the difference between that one? If you are working in architectural unit, then it takes the feet inches differently, otherwise it will ask for the point value only. So if I am going to check it dimension, it will show you 130. Why 130? We want architectural dimension. So DST, enter, modify, change it here, architectural, select OK, close, regenerate, 10 feet 10 inch. So our dimension is not quite visible, so I will change its value, modify, symbol size, I will make it 0 feet 6 inch, and I will make that text also 6 inch. Okay, close. Now our text is visible. Now you can see this one. Now problem is that I want millimeter too. Then what we can do, we will use alternative unit, display, decimal. Okay, then AutoCAD will automatically show this 25.4. it is the conversion from inches to mm. If you will use in millimeter scale, then it will be value will be 0.35 something. So it is 24.5. now okay, now this is your inches drawing, inches value, and this is your millimeter value. Same as I am going to do in this case, not in this case, in this case, DST, enter, modify, I want its inches value to display, alternative you change it to architectural, and now we can see architectural, this one. Okay, now we can see it's about around of 1 feet 1 inch, but you need to see here, modify, the value is 0.03943, it's conversion point. If you will see how much inches will be in 1 mm, then it will show you this conversion point in Google. So it's the universal conversion formula, it is using by itself, you need not to calculate and you put everything. Okay, what is the placement? Either after the previous value or down the previous value. Okay, close, look here, it is the mm unit and this is the value. If you want, here you can use the suffix and prefix, modify, in this case you can put the suffix as mm, select OK, Okay, close. Now 25 mm or 1 feet, 1 inch. Same thing, it's up to you, whatever you are using. Not override, modify, and go to alternative units. It's completed. Tolerance is the method to show. For example, if I am working in a mechanical engineer, in civil sector also, if you have some comments on that wall, for example, you want it fire rated or you want its smoothness or something, so you need to specify that special region. So in that case you are using that method of tolerance, so that you can show just symbols and some things. But in mechanical engineers, mechanical dimensions are showing as a limits, deviation, symmetrical units. For example, symmetrical plus minus 0.5, like this, upper value is 5. Okay, I am going to remove the second dimension, close. You can see 25 millimeter plus minus 5 millimeter. That means it can be tolerances. I always saw this one in mechanical only. Tolerances, same as what is the scaling for height factor, the same as the text value. For example, you want it 0.5. What happens? Your tolerance value will be shorter than the original value, so others can not confuse which is the original value and which is the tolerance value. Same as non-symmetrical, if you want deviation, then you will put how much deviation you want, close. Okay, it's plus 5 minus 5. If you will change the dimension, modify, if you will put 10, it will show 10. Okay, it's up to you. Modify, and same as what will be the position, middle, top, bottom, because I change the scale, so it will be visible. If you will not change the scale, it will be 1, then it's not visible. If I will put top, it will be on the top. Modify, instead of deviation I am putting symmetrical. Okay, close. Now it's all on the top. Modify, not on the top, I want in middle. Okay, close. Look, modify, change, tolerance, zero suppression, same thing at the end. For example, I want not, for example, close, it's 5 mm. Modify, it's trailing na. If I will close the trailing, then it will show 5.00. 5.00. This is the thing. So two things were remaining here: symbol and arrows, jog line, jog height factor, and arc length in symbols, and dimension break line. What are these one? Dimension break line is, for example, modify, symbol and arrows. I think one thing is also radius, jog dimension. One thing of baseline spacing. I need to also specify this one. What is this one? This is also very important. Baseline dimension and the break size all will be covered in this. Close. If I am making one line, okay, I want to specify its every one dimension. For example, something is here, you enter, REC enter. For example, this is just I am making one example. Actually I am just making one example of stairs. Actually stairs is not like this. Stairs have one base, so to make it shorter I am making like this only. Now I am putting one dimension. For baseline dimension you need to specify the first dimension here, BST. I am going to change its BST into, I am going to change its tolerances, none, alternative unit is none, primary units no, this one, and on the trailing, so my dimension will be shorter. Okay, 130. If I am going to modify dimension, and there is baseline dimension, now whatever dimension you put earlier, it will start from there. Now see, first dimension, second dimension, and third dimension. Okay, here this is the baseline dimension, distance, first dimension, second dimension. This is 3.75. If I will go and see this one, modify lines, this is baseline 3.75. If I will change this one, for example, I am going to make it 10. Okay, close, and again I am going to make one dimension first, so it will start from there, and now I am going to dimension, baseline dimension, dimension, I'm going to close all the waste drawings, it is confusing. Dimension, baseline dimension. Now look, first dimension, second dimension, third dimension. Now height between this will be 10. Look here, and in this case height was the 3.75. so this will be the baseline dimension. And again, if I am crossing this one, for example, again I am erasing this all and making again dimension, I am making one baseline dimension. Baseline dimension is here also. Look here, for example, I made first one is this, and then this, and then this. So it will cross one dimension to second dimension. There should be one gap between the one dimension to the second dimension. Here it's not visible. It should not cross. So might be something problem in our distance formatting. For example, I am putting one dimension here to here. Okay, second dimension here to here. There should be one break. That break is called modify symbol and arrows. That is called this one, break size, dimension break. Here should be one break, but dimension break. So what will I do? Select first object, select second object, then first object will be breaked, so that your dimension will be visible, that it's not a line, it's a dimension line, both are. Same case you can change it here, or in this case it will not break because it is not crossing. Whatever the object will be your first object, that will break. For example, this one and this one. Now this time I want to break this red line instead of this green line. So dimension break, select the first object, select second object. Now the red one is crossed here and here also. So this is our dimension break. Again, one thing is still remaining, modify symbol and arrows, jog angle and jog height factor. For example, you have one arc of center here and this one. So this shows that it's not the actual center of this one, actual center is somewhere else, and this jog symbol will show that its radius is 1087 and radius is somewhere else, not here. So the designer or manufacturer will know. Same as if I have a one line too much lengthy and just I broke it, sorry, BR enter, from here to here and just moved it here. Dimension, normal dimension I will put from here to here. Its dimension is 3406. It's still too much lengthy. to know a better idea. Okay, now this is our line now showing 810. So modify dimension, jog linear dimension, select the dimension. I will select and I will put one jog line. Again select object and put one jog line. So what happens, this jog line shows it's not actual dimension. Now you change the value here. So if I put this one 10 meter, 1 2 3, no, it's 10 meter, and I will put this value here, but this jog symbol will show that it's our dimension, the value is showing is not the same because this object is breaked here. So if I am going to change the dimension style, modify, this is jog height factor, how much size of this arrow will be. Modify arrow, and this jog factor I am taking it 5. Okay, close. Now this arrow will become big. Again modify and change it. I will make it 10. It becomes bigger. So this way you can use the dimension style in everything, every manner you can change its dimension style according to your need and your industrial need. So I hope you like this video, and if you have any comments or suggestions, please comment below, or you can email me directly to my mail, or please don't forget to subscribe and like. Thank you.